Local news, national news, even feel-good news. Delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
All right, now, Laurel, I'm going to jog your memory here. Laurel Lee and I, several years ago, gosh, this would have been 5 or 6 years ago, I think, at this point. I mean, time really flies. But do you remember that time that we were in the back parking lot of the radio station, and there was what appeared to be a bird in distress on the roof of our building?
Yeah, it was like on the edge and wasn't moving very much. And so we're like, uh-oh, what's going on there? It was a big bird, a big bird.
It was a really big bird. We later learned it was an osprey, and we have an osprey nest up in our tower here at the radio station. And what we figure happened was the bird either fell out of the nest or was pushed out of the nest or something, but it collided with something. It might have been a juvenile bird, but it was still quite big. And then so I climbed up onto the roof, and I remember it was the middle of summer because it was so hot. It was so blazing hot up on that roof, and we live streamed it on Facebook. And so I get up on the roof, and I'm trying to capture this bird because it's clearly in distress. And then, of course, once I'm up on the roof, the bird does what?
Flies away.
Flies down to the ground.
Yeah, except it flew down to the ground and hit against the side of our garage.
It did. It was slammed right into a garage door.
We're like, oh, man.
Yes, like adding insult to injury, or in that case, adding injury to injury. But we were successful in capturing that bird. And then we took it down to where? The Audubon Society?
Yeah, so we got like a big sheet or something in a big tub, and you and I cornered it against the garage, and we were able to wrap it up and throw it in a tub, and then one of our lovely coworkers took us down to the Audubon Society.
And we
have a bird.
We were so proud of ourselves.
We're like, we saved this bird.
Yes, and then we found out that we didn't save the bird.
Oh.
They
tried. It wasn't our fault.
So I think they euthanized the bird at the Audubon Society.
It had a break in its wing that was just not fixable, and it was not going to be. It wasn't going to have a good life, so they had to euthanize it.
So they euthanized the bird, and we were really sad. I'm still sad about that. So flash forward to today. Producer Greg and I are out to lunch at Grills Lakeside, just around the corner here from the radio station, right? And we find an injured bird in the parking lot. And I suddenly, remember our last effort at saving a bird and how poorly that went. But if you want to see we're trying to nurse this bird back to life. I'm not taking it to the Audubon Society. We've got it here at the radio station, and we're trying to nurse it back to life. But if you want to see this injured bird, it is on the WDBO Facebook page. It's also on the Joe Kelley Show Facebook page if you want to see it. But it's just an adorable little bird, and it just needs some help is all it needs,
I will caution you, it is an understatement to say it's injured if you are looking for this photo.
Yeah, maybe don't show the kids. Maybe you look first. It's not kid-friendly, probably.
There's no blood or anything.
No, but it's still... I was surprised you weren't. Nobody yelled at you for posting that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure someone did.
Yes.
I did see a couple of comments that were in all caps. So that happened.
That's usually not nice.
Not usually nice at all. No. All right, well, it is Friday afternoon. I gotta say, first of all, it's Friday night high school football. I love Friday night high school football. Frank just writes, there's no blood or body. Yes, it was just a bird's head is all we found. But we're trying to nurse the bird back to life. Still, he deserves a shot at life just as much as anybody else does, okay? Can we all agree on that? So it's Friday night high school football, and then tonight is homecoming, at least at my kids' school. It's homecoming night tonight. And so for Brooks and Hudson, that's their real names, by the way, Brooks and Hudson, have a good time tonight at the homecoming game. And then the homecoming dance is actually tomorrow night. And instead of at a hotel or something like that, they're having it at the school gymnasium. Is that cool to have it at the school gymnasium? I know that they were hoping it would be like at a hotel or something.
My kids was at their gymnasium too, so I don't know. Maybe there's no budget for that. Everything's way too expensive right now.
Oh my gosh, right? I mean, to rent out a hotel ballroom right now, I would think would be so insanely expensive. everything costs so much right now. But I'm very excited. They've got a couple of great-looking suits. They're handsome young men. They're going to look amazing. The acoustics in a gymnasium is never good for dances and stuff like that. But and these, I think most of these kids are at the age where they just go with friends. They don't bring dates or anything like that. I mean, I felt like when we were in high school, there was a lot of pressure to bring dates, to have a date. You had to secure a date, and going alone to a dance was just something that you didn't do. Or when by saying alone, I mean without a date. But do you think it's more acceptable now to people just go with friends?
I think it was a little bit of a crossover when I was in school. I mean, I think if it was really, really cool if you had a date, you had a boyfriend or girlfriend to go with. But if you're just going with friends, people were like, okay, that's whatever too. I mean,
yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's fine now to just go with friends.
So for everybody who's going to Friday night high school football tonight, for all the football players, for the marching band, for the boosters, for the people that work the concession stands, for the cheerleaders, the drill team, everybody just have fun tonight. Be careful. The weather is perfect tonight. Oh, my goodness. It's still a little warm right now. It's 89 degrees. But in the next couple of hours, as the sun starts to set, it's going to cool off. It's going to be nice. It is going to be absolutely beautiful for Friday night high school football, and I'm excited for everybody. Now, all of that having been said, let's talk about Hillary Clinton again. What do you guys think? We had a lot of fun talking about Hillary Clinton last night, and Hillary Clinton, last night there was an interview in which she said that some of the Trump supporters actually, I think she painted with a much broader brush. She said all Trump supporters act like they're in a cult, to which I said I think there is a subset of Trump supporters that feel like they're in a cult. But she's got off the deep end at this point. Now she is saying she sat down for an interview with CNN's, what is her name, Christiane Amanpour, and she sat down with her and says that Trump supporters need formal deprogramming. Boy, if that's not Soviet-era language, I don't know what is. Here's Hillary Clinton.
And it will require us defeating those most extreme measures and the people who promote them in order to try to get to some common ground where people can, again, work together. That's the way it used to be. I mean, we had very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members. But
wow, a formal deprogramming of the cult members. That sounds really scary coming from Hillary Clinton. What do you think? 844-580-WDBO. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app.
What the heck does that mean? Coming from a Clinton, deprogram? I'm scared now. Everybody better watch over their shoulder, man.
Yeah.
If Clinton's saying anything about any deprogramming, man, I don't know, man. They might be disappearing, folks.
This is I saw a headline that read, analysts say Trump supporters are likely to kill. Is that the most irresponsible headline you've ever heard? Political analyst Brian Klaas is warning that a small subset of Donald Trump supporters are, quote, highly likely to try and kill as the former president's rhetoric continues to become more violent. During a Sunday interview, Klaas, who is an associate professor I'm shocked he's in academia. Shocked. He is a associate professor in global politics at University College London, was asked how concerned people should be about Trump's increasingly violent rhetoric. Let's see. One of the things that this class said was you have him suggesting that you could execute America's top general. Class finished by saying, and what is highly likely going on into the 2024 election is that a small subset of Trump's very well-armed and extremist base will try to kill some people. You know what? I think the same could be said about any small subset. I mean, I bet there's a small subset of Bob Ross supporters who could kill. I mean, let's be honest. There's a small subset of Ronald McDonald supporters who are likely to kill. That's just nuts. That is absolutely ridiculous to say that. Could a Donald Trump supporter, try to kill somebody? Of course they could. Just like we saw a Bernie Sanders supporter try to kill members of Congress when they were playing baseball a few years back, and Steve Scalise got hit multiple times.
Well, Hillary Clinton can go pack sand. No reprogramming here.
Yeah, go. Is it pack sand or pound sand? I always thought it was pound sand. Paul Cross, you say, is it pound sand?
Yeah, go pound sand.
Go pound sand. Yeah.
Pound sand, kick rocks,
Something like that.
Why, Hillary? Because he exposed you for the murderer, thief, and pathological liar that you are?
Yikes. All right, Hillary, okay.
Hillary Clinton is one of the biggest corrupt liars, evil persons to ever have office for the United States. She points the finger at everybody else, and she's the biggest liar ever. She's still bitter. You can see it in her face. Damn Hillary.
She is no doubt still bitter, and having twice lost the presidential election, and I'm surprised she's not running again.
Oh, yeah. Hillary and the reprogramming issue. Wow. Anybody that deals with her and her husband winds up dead. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about all her corrupt emails and bleach pit. She belongs in jail right beside the Bidens.
By the way, we're getting mixed reports now about Kevin McCarthy. There was initial report saying that Kevin McCarthy was not only going to not seek the speakership again, but that he was going to vacate his seat and not run for re-election. And now he is saying, nope, that is a false report. We're going to have that and more for you coming up with all the stories, all the headlines you missed while you were at work today. That is coming up next on the Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
By the way, if you're looking for the Joe Kelley Show, if you don't get a chance to listen to it live, you can always listen to it in the podcast. I just got the new metrics on it today. The Joe Kelley Show podcast is WDBO's #1 podcast. So thank you so much for listening to our podcast. You can check it out wherever you get your podcasts, in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, in the WDBO app, and so many other locations. And thank you again for making it the #1 podcast here at WDBO. My name is Joe Kelley. If you're just joining us here on this late Friday afternoon as we get ready for Friday night high school football and having a great weekend and great weather this weekend, we've got the headlines that you likely missed today while you were at work. Bloomberg reported 9 hours ago that the deadline for the PGA Tour and the Saudi-backed Live Golf's historic merger, the deadline is likely to be delayed beyond December. 8 hours ago, the Washington Post had this, and it was breaking news on WDBO as the economy adds 336,000 jobs in September, a surprisingly strong increase. My question is, does anybody care about that reporting? Does anybody care about the jobs numbers? Because I feel like the numbers can be so easily manipulated, and then we always get corrections to the numbers. Like the next month, we'll get a correction to these numbers, and it just seems as if there's no relevance here. Laurel, here's one that might interest you. 5 hours ago, the New York Post reported that rapper Drake, announced he's taken a hiatus to take care of a personal matter.
You love Drake.
I do not love Drake. Aubrey. He's a Canadian rapper, and I'm sorry, there are no good rappers from Canada, and Drake is not one of. He's terrible. I wonder what his personal matter is. Do we have any idea what Drake's personal matters are? We all have personal matters.
he has too much money and doesn't know where to put it anymore.
That could be that absolutely could be the case. 5 hours ago, The Hill reported that President Trump seeks a pause in his New York fraud case. 4 hours ago, the New York Times reported that New Jersey's Attorney General seized police records and will review the fatal crash in which Senator Robert Menendez's wife was involved in 2018. 4 hours ago, this one's really gruesome. I know how you guys love those gruesome stories. Police find at least 115 bodies at a so-called green funeral home that doesn't use embalming chemicals or metal caskets. The mortuary is under investigation for handling human remains improperly. 3 hours ago, this is a big deal. Televised Fox News speaker forum has been called off. Fox News with host Brett Baer was going to host a Speaker of the House forum with the three candidates who were going to, all have thrown their hat in the ring. Well, all three of the candidates have pulled out of this, and now it's just not going to happen. 2 hours ago, United Auto Workers Union decided not to expand its strike after GM made a breakthrough concession on unionizing electric vehicle battery plants. An hour ago, Simone Biles becomes the most decorated gymnast in history after winning the individual all-around title at the World Championships. And then 20 minutes ago, The Hill reported that Congressman Kevin McCarthy announces that he is not resigning from his seat, and he plans to run for the election in 2024, shooting down reports that he was considering stepping down following his ouster as Speaker earlier this week. You're listening to The Joe Kelley Show. Coming up next year, we'll get more of your thoughts on Hillary Clinton's deprogramming comments. And the Pope says that we live irresponsible lifestyles. We, you and me. The Pope is attacking us. We'll have that for you coming up next.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Connected to our community. Talk local issues and events with Joe Kelley. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let Joe know what interests you. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
So the second I brought up Hillary Clinton tonight, Frank in the chat group, which you can find on the WDBO Facebook page, we've got live video. You can see what everybody looks like. For better or for worse, you can see what everybody looks like. But Frank in the chat group said, oh, no, you're mentioning Hillary. It's only a matter of seconds before people hit you up in the open mic saying, don't ever play Hillary's voice ever on the radio again. And Frank is clairvoyant. He was absolutely right.
Hey, Joe, do us a favor. Please never play Hillary Clinton or Chuck Schumer audio clips. Like, even Pelosi, I can't stand to hear their voices. It, makes me sick. Don't ruin my drive home with that.
Yeah, see, I get that. I do. I understand. But ironically enough, the subsequent open mic I got explains exactly why I do play Hillary Clinton when she spouts off like she did today.
Hillary Clinton taking a page book right away from the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia and the North Vietnamese after they won the war. Got to put everybody in camps and re-educate them and get rid of all those bad thoughts about capitalism and freedom in their heads. Now you see what we're up against, and hopefully people will begin to understand the way the new left thinks.
Yeah, that I think it's important when you've got. I know she's not in an elected office right now, and hopefully she'll never be in an elected office ever again. But Hillary Clinton still has sway with the left. And it is important to know what the left is thinking if we want to be able to combat that on the right. And for that reason alone, I think it's important to hear what Hillary Clinton has to say about that kind of stuff, particularly when it's as unhinged as suggesting that there are Americans that need to be deprogrammed. Only a matter of time before they're rounded up and put in deprogramming and re-education camps. Yeah, that would be awful. All right, Pope Francis. This is going to stir you up. Pope Francis has called on Western governments, and by Western governments, he pretty much means the United States, to rein in the, quote, irresponsible lifestyles of the public, warning that the world is, in his words, collapsing due to climate change. According to the Pope, people in Western nations need to implement a broad lifestyle change in order to fight global warming. in his apostolic exhortation, the Pope blames the suffering of the planet on the lifestyles of the West. He warns the world is collapsing due to extreme weather phenomena, frequent periods of unusual heat, drought, and other cries of protest on the part of the earth. He blames the extreme weather on climate change. He goes on to say that U.S. emissions per capita are 2 times greater than China. Per capita, U.S. emissions per capita are 2 times greater than China. He argues that irresponsible lifestyles of Western populations need to be reined in. First of all, let's put this in a little bit of perspective here, okay? The population of the United States is a little over 330 million people. Hey, Google, what's the population of China?
In 2021, the population of China was 1,412,360,000.
1,412,000,000 people. So it's nothing for the Pope or anybody else to measure something per capita because China has 1.4 billion residents. We only, by comparison, have 330 million residents. So sure, per capita, we may pollute more than China, but China's emissions are more than the rest of the top 5 nations combined. And the Chinese Communist Party gets a free pass from Pope Francis as the Pope targets the West. I'm sorry, Mr. Pope, stay in your lane, okay? This is not your lane. Stay in your lane. You've got plenty of issues with the Catholic Church that you could be dealing with right now that don't deal with you chastising the United States and Western governments over this issue. I'll conclude in this letter that he wrote, again, his apostolic exhortation. If we consider the emissions per individual in the United States, I mean, he's calling us out, are about 2 times greater than those individuals living in China and about 7 times greater than the average of the poorest countries. We can state that a broad change in the irresponsible lifestyle connected with the Western model would have significant long-term impact. All right, your thoughts here on the Pope and what the Pope has to say about the United States and global warming. It gets under my skin. It irritates me. The Pope has so much, the Catholic Church has so much of the house that they need to clean, that coming after the United States for global emissions is ridiculous when the Catholic Church is still dealing with their sex scandals and sex abuse. They've got so many of their own problems. How dare you come after the United States?
Yeah, says the woman whose party has like the most crazy, insane, monolithic, now thinking, radical, crazy people.
Yeah, that, of course, about Hillary Clinton. A lot of open mics about Hillary Clinton.
I'm just saying, if I said some of these LGBTQ transgenders need to be deprogrammed, ooh, I'd get in trouble.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. You absolutely would get in trouble if you said that. No doubt. My name is Joe Kelley. You can join me at 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. Coming up in a moment, some of the GOP anti-Trumpers, the never-Trumpers, are throwing in the towel on their never-Trump philosophy, their anti-Trump philosophy, and their never-Trump spending. We'll have the details for you coming up next. And then at the top of the hour, after 6 o'clock, we're going to have our movie quote trivia. We're counting on you, Paul Cross, to come through for movie quote trivia coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. So stay with us here on The Joe Kelley Show.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Insightful.
You tell the truth from your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio.
And engaging.
When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
By the way, I got to congratulate Chris Brim. Chris, who joins us in our chat room, and we love that he joins us in the chat room. But Chris's wife just had their third child last night, so congratulations to Chris and the missus. And we have all decided, Laurel, Paul, Greg, and I have all decided that if any of us have any kids moving forward, more kids, that we're going to have them help us with naming our children, because their three children's names are Maximus, Axel, and Riker. What awesome names of
legendary,
right? I love that. Axel, Maximus, and Riker. Great names. So cool. All right. It's the Joe Kelley Show here on a late Friday afternoon. Pope Francis is now condemning Western governments. And by Western governments, he really means the United States. He literally calls out the United States because of our lifestyle here in the United States. Look, and I'll be honest with you, are there things that we could be doing better, like single-use plastics? I have a thing about single-use plastics. I hate single-use plastics. I mean, because it really just fills up landfills. Do you realize that every piece of plastic that has ever been made still exists? Because plastics take some 60 years to decompose, and plastics haven't been around for 60 years. We've only had plastics, for the last 20 some odd years, 30 years, to the extent that we have it today. So every piece of plastic ever made still exists. Even if you burn it, the byproduct of the plastic, still pollutes the atmosphere. So, single-use plastics are bad. Are there things we could do better? Yes. But for the Pope? Wow, I said that very contemptuously. Let me try that again. Let me be a little bit more respectful. The Pope? Nope, that was not more respectful at all, was it?
It's a good thing you have that pop filter on there.
Right? For the Pope?
The Pope filter.
For the Pope? I am not getting less contemptful each time I say it. I think I'm getting more contemptful. But for the Pope to call us out is the kettle calling the pot black. Let's go to Winter Park. John is joining us here on the Joe Kelley Show. Hello, John. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know the Pope had a science degree.
Yeah.
And, he's supposed to be respected within his zone. If he says something like, oh, that restaurant's terrible, that's not like it's not like a declaration of the Pope. But the main thing is I don't like this idea that God made the earth wrong. And, yes, we're supposed to take care of it, but it's like saying it's just going to fall apart if we don't do things perfectly right. I just don't understand this supposedly Christian idea that God screwed up. And, if we just don't put the rake in the right place, the whole thing's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
That just really bothers me.
God doesn't make mistakes. God does not make mistakes. And I think what you're getting at is the Pope is suggesting that God has made a mistake with mankind, and somehow we're going to destroy the world that he created for us.
Yeah, I mean, he did tell us to tend the garden, but he didn't say the garden was going to collapse if he didn't do it just right.
Right. And we should be good stewards of our earth, of our planet, of our space. I mean, I think it's incumbent upon us. And if we can find ways to reduce emissions, if we can find ways to stop using single-use plastics and those kinds of things, I mean, I'm all in favor of that. But I don't need to be lectured by the Pope.
All right.
Thanks, John. I appreciate your call. 844-580-WDBO, or use the open mic in the WDBO app.
Hey, Joe, she's completely insane. Always has been. We are a child of God. Lord Jesus is my Savior and Redeemer. You want to try to reprogram me? You got another thing coming.
Yeah, I'd labeled that open mic Reprogram Jesus. And I thought that was about the Pope. I forgot that was about Hillary Clinton, not about the Pope.
The Pope is complaining about people living in some nice conditions. The one who lives in that giant Vatican and is waited on and has cooks and a Pope mobile.
I wonder if the Holy Father, Pope Francis, looked at the per capita emissions of the Vatican City. Probably not a lot, but if he carved himself out, his per capita as an individual is a pretty high number.
Hey, Google, what is the population of Vatican City?
In 2019, the population of Vatican City was 825.
Boy, it's a small city. 825. I think my high school class had 825, so and the Pope has his own jet, he has his own plane and all those other kinds of things. So, yeah.
It sounds like it's time for another modern day Great Inquisition. The Catholic Church is corrupt. They're their own government, their own entity. You know the deal.
All right, coming up next here on the Joe Kelley Show, it's Friday night. Everybody is tired. Everybody has worked hard all week. And we don't want to end the week with, heavy discussion and worldly issues. We want to have fun. So we're going to have our movie quote trivia coming up in the next hour. All of our cinephiles, if you love film, you're going to love the next hour. Stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Still seeing some delays here, I-4 westbound as you make your way through Heathrow and Lake Mary down into Longwood. Into downtown looks a lot better. You are still going to have some brake lights there from Princeton onto the 408, but it's not as heavy as it was even as much as 15 minutes ago. Big delays, though, continue on I-4 westbound from just about Kirkman all the way to 535. This is also affecting 528 westbound and the ramps there to I-4 westbound. More brake lights and more delays from 192 down into Champions Gate, and then our normal Friday afternoon heaviness, I-4 eastbound from well before US 27 out of Polk County and up through Champions Gate. Having tech issues? No worries. Visit Refresh Computers, Central Florida's budget computer store. Refresh Computers in Longwood or refreshcomputers.net. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Breaking news to lively debates, covering the issues that matter to you.
I make it a point to listen to Joe Kelley when I need to fully understand what's happening in the news.
Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Well, it is Friday, and on Fridays, especially in the last hour, we like to lighten things up a bit. We spend the whole week talking about death and destruction and terrible things going on in our world. Shootings that involve 11-year-olds and 13-year-olds and politicians, former politicians that want to put people in re-education camps and just terrible, terrible things. So as we get to the end of the week, we know that you guys have had a tough week at work, just like we have. Everybody's had a tough week, and everybody's tired, and nobody wants to go home in a bad mood. So we want to make sure that in this last hour here of the show that we kind of do things a little bit more up-tempo. And we like to have fun. We call it our fun and games hour. And we're going to do movie quote trivia, just like we did last week. And our contestants include, but aren't limited to, Laurel Lee. Hello, Laurel.
Hello there.
We have Paul Cross, who, hi, Paul.
Hi.
Paul,
Hi.
I got to tell you, I got to brag about Paul here for a second. Paul has been under the weather all week and has not done his regular full traffic shift, but he's always made it a point to be here for us from 5 till 7. And, man, that just means the world to me. You are you're my hero, man. You're the wind. You're the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings.
Bette Midler, Barbara Hershey.
And then Greg Rhodes. Greg Rhodes is joining us.
It's an honor to be here.
All right, we're glad to have you, Greg. Greg is the newest addition here to the Joe Kelley Show. He and I went out to lunch today, and I grilled him. In fact, we went to Grills Lakeside. That's where I found that poor bird, that injured bird, was in the parking lot over at Grills Lakeside. If you want to see the picture of the injured bird that we've been nursing back to health, you can see it right now on the WDBO Facebook page or the Joe Kelley Show Facebook page. Either one is fine. So are you guys ready for movie trivia? Now, you'll need to have your own piece of paper. During the break, I brought Laurel a piece of paper because evidently there is no paper in that room.
We don't just have paper in the news studio. What kind of news studio do you think we are?
Look, you don't have to yell at me, okay? I cannot take the pressure of you yelling at me this late in the day. So, and anybody in our chat group, of course, you guys play along with us. We'd be glad to have you. So I'm going to play a quote from a movie. So, like, put on a piece of paper numbers 1 through 10. I'm going to play the quotes, and you write down what you think the movie is, and then we'll circle back and see if you got them right or wrong. So you got to keep your own scores. I'm not scoring it. I am the host, and I'll be the master of ceremonies for this. But you got to keep track of how many movies you get right and how many movies you get wrong. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here is our first movie quote. Take a listen.
You sent for me? Yes, I did. You're good, Spaniard, but you're not that good. You could be magnificent. I'm required to kill, so I kill. That is enough.
All right, write it down. Write it down if you know the name of that movie. If you're in the chat group, just go ahead and post who you think it is, what you think it is. Here is cut number 2.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
That's when things get tricky, right? Because you'll be like, I know that movie, but then like, wait, do I know that movie? Was that the first one or the second one or the third one? Was it the fifth one? Was it the seventh one? Here's your third cut.
It's Tell me, or I'll... No, not the buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons. All right, then. Who's hiding them?
Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
All right, your next movie.
You're from the guilt of choosing to leave them. We're going home to our real children.
No. Ma, you listen to me, all right? Ma, look at me, please.
You're waiting for a train.
Did you got that? Do you have that? Do you need to hear it again, or did you get that one? You got it? Good. I'm glad. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that. Here's your next movie quote.
I could never answer to a whistle. Whistles are for dogs and cats and other animals, but not for children, and definitely not for me. It would be too humiliating.
Fräulein, were you this much trouble at the Abbey?
Oh, much more, sir.
I'll tell you right now, I would have got that one wrong. There's no way I would have got that one. Not a chance. All right, here's your next one.
I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Boy, that's a tough one too, isn't it? That one's hard. Okay. Here's your last one for this segment.
This car. Good, what about this car? Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there. 10 people. 10 more people. This pin.
I wouldn't have got that one either. So these are tough.
So you made it
These are
difficult
hard.
for us
right
off the bat.
These are hard, aren't they?
I probably, if I got 2, I'd be very surprised.
All right, so let's go back to number 1. So let's listen once again, and then we'll get your answers.
You sent for me? Yes, I did. You're good, Spaniard, but you're not that good.
All right, what movie is that? Laurel.
I totally guessed because I think that's that one bald guy. And then I was like, action movie, The Equalizer? I don't know.
All right, Paul Cross.
Yeah, I know it's Jason, but I just took Crank. I've never even seen Crank. I don't even know what it is.
Wow. Greg Rhodes.
Yeah, no, I quoted this one earlier today.
Yes.
It's Gladiator.
It's Gladiator. Come on, guys.
I don't know. Sorry.
Russell Crowe is the Spaniard.
This
is not my music.
I would have got that one. All right, cut number 2. Let's take a listen.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Now, it's a shame that I don't ask who the character is, because I bet all of you could name the character.
That's my husband. First of all, the actor's my husband, not the character.
Right. The character is Bane, of course.
Yeah, played by handsome Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. And what is the name of the movie, Laurel?
I'm like, Batman. And I'm like, oh, you're going to make me be specific.
Yes, I am.
The Dark Knight Rises?
Okay. What is your answer, Paul Cross? Hang on, I can't hear Paul Cross.
Dark Knight Rises.
All right.
I think that's what it was.
Greg Rhodes.
I also said Dark Knight Rises.
Look at that. All three of you guys got that right. I am so impressed. Here's the third one.
It's in. Tell me, or I'll... No, not the buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons. All right, then. Who's hiding them? Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
You know, I hated that movie.
I did too.
But I love that scene. I love that scene. That's so cute. All right, so Laurel, what movie is that?
So because of the last one, you had me overthinking this one, and I'm like, oh man, does it have a subtitle? So Shrek. It's Shrek.
All right, Paul Cross.
Shrek.
Greg Rhodes.
It is Shrek.
It is Shrek. You're absolutely right. All three of you guys got that one right. All right.
And now I'm done. Now for the rest of the whole period,
really?
I have no idea on any
Pretty
of them.
much me too.
All right,
Let's
hang
try.
on. Let's listen to the next one.
From the guilt of choosing to leave them, we're going home to our real children.
No. Ma, you listen to me, all right? Ma, look at me, please.
You're waiting for a train.
How do you guys not know that one?
I
Laurel.
have zero idea what it could even be.
Paul Cross.
Nope.
Greg Rhodes.
Inception.
Yes! Inception.
Oh, I fell asleep in the theater when I tried to watch. It made it even more confusing when I woke up. And I'm
I
like,
bet.
What is happening in this movie?
Yes. That's a movie you cannot fall asleep in the middle of that movie. All right, here's your next one. Are you ready?
I could never answer to a whistle. Whistles are for dogs and cats and other animals, but not for children, and definitely not for me. It would be too humiliating.
Fräulein, were you this much trouble at the Abbey?
Oh, much more, sir.
Yeah, there's no way I would have got that. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
I've got no idea.
Laurel?
No,
Nothing?
nada.
Paul Cross?
Nope.
Greg Rhodes?
The Sound of Music.
How does he know that? How do you know that?
Hills are alive
With the sound,
of music.
Yeah, I've never. Oh boy, am I going to finish that sentence? I've never seen that movie. Sound of Music. All right, here's your last one for. No, we got two more, right? Two more for this
Two
segment.
more.
All right, here's your next
I
one.
see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
So one of those words is a clue. If you picked up on it, Laurel, what movie is that?
Well, now you have me guessing it's Fellowship of the Rings. Fellowship of the, I don't know.
What did you originally put?
Because I had no idea. I wrote Braveheart again.
All right, Paul Cross.
Not a clue. I'm going to go with Toy Story. I have
no. Greg Rhodes.
Right, it is Lord of the Rings, but I can't tell which one, the second or the third, so I went with Two Towers.
It's Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. All right, and here's your last movie for this segment.
This car. Good would have bought this car. Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there. 10 people. 10 more people. This pin.
I saw this movie one time, and it's the kind of movie you can only watch once. It's not one of those movies that you watch over and over and over again. Laurel, what movie is it?
No idea.
Paul Cross, what movie is that?
Barbie.
Nope. Greg Rhodes?
My guess was Schindler's List.
Does he have a copy of my notes? How is he getting all these right? It was Schindler's List.
I didn't get it until the second playthrough just now.
Yeah, because he says I could have had 10 more people if I wouldn't have had the car.
Yep, and that's when I recognized the voice. So
Next time we need Frank in our chat to play because he got like half of these right.
Yeah. All right. So hang on. We'll have part two of and I think there'll be some easier movies for you coming up in part two. So stand by for part two of our movie quote trivia. That'll be coming up right after this. Stay with us here on the Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, the three big things you need to know.
Three. Tomorrow's jackpot is up to $1.4 billion after no one's matched the winning numbers since July. A single winner would have the option of lump sum cash prize of more than $600 million. Saturday's jackpot is the fifth largest lottery prize in U.S. history. Two. Stocks are higher to end the week on Wall Street despite this morning's strong jobs report. Stocks rallied, erasing earlier sessions' losses as a spike in Treasury yields eased GM and Ford shares rose in the afternoon after trading as the UAW cited progress talks with automakers. One. Employment numbers are coming in way above expectations in the U.S. The Department of Labor says total non-farm payroll employment rose by a robust 336,000. That's nearly twice as much as the forecasted 170,000 new jobs.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. Join the conversation now by using the open mic in the WDBO app. Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Welcome back. Friday night fun and games, and we're doing our movie quote trivia. We invite you to play along in your car. We invite you to, if you're watching in the chat, by the way, the chat just did its own version of Inception. That's what that was. It was instead of a dream within a dream, it was a video within 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 a video. And that was just having a little bit of fun there during the commercial break. Okay, for let me get everybody in the right order here. So we got Laurel, Paul, and then Greg. Are you guys ready for part 2 of our movie trivia, movie quote trivia? Paul, and then Greg. Are you guys ready for part 2 of our movie trivia, movie quote trivia? Paul, and then Greg. Are you guys ready for part 2?
He's messed himself. This is what he gets for being annoying in the chat. Now he's messed himself up on the
No, I think we're good now. We're good. I got it all taken care of. Okay, are you guys ready? Here we go. Here's your next movie.
I've just worked out why I can never find true love.
What's that?
English girl. They're stuck up, you see. And I am primarily attractive to girls who are, cooler, game for a laugh. Like American girls. So I should just go to America. I would get a girlfriend there instantly. What do you think?
I think it's crap, Colin.
That's where you're wrong.
Ooh, man, not in a million years would I get that one. All right, here's your next movie quote. Listen carefully.
Perhaps some part of you imprinted onto me, something overwritten or copied. It is at this point irrelevant. What matters is that whatever happened for a reason. And what reason is that? I killed you, Mr. Anderson. I watched you die.
That one should be easy. Y'all should all know that one. All right, here's your next movie.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
That also should be very, very easy. All right, speaking about easy, here's another one that should be pretty easy.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed?
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
What species is this?
It's a velociraptor.
Yeah, that should be super easy. Here's your last movie quote for this segment. Listen carefully.
I bring a proclamation from the Imperial City. The Huns have invaded China. By order of the Emperor, one man from every family must serve in the Imperial Army. The Xiao family. The Yi family.
I saw Laurel get real excited when she heard that one, so I'm expecting big things from Laurel on that one. All right, let's go back to the top of the list here. Here is the first movie, and I want to hear what answer you guys have.
I've just worked out why I can never find true love.
What's that?
English girl. They're stuck up, you see.
All right, Laurel, what movie is that?
I've got no idea.
Paul Cross.
Nope, nothing.
Greg Rhodes.
Guess Wimbledon.
No, that movie is called Love Actually. Love Actually. You guys, that's the first time you guys, all three of you, got it wrong. What is this movie?
Perhaps some part of you imprinted onto me, something overwritten or copied. It is at this point irrelevant. What matters is that whatever happened.
Should be moderately easy. Laurel?
Matrix?
What is your answer, Paul?
Nope, nothing.
Greg Rhodes?
The Matrix.
And all three of you got it wrong. It is The Matrix Reloaded.
I only knew the Anderson part.
Right. Here's your next movie.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
That should be breathtakingly easy. Laurel?
Godfather?
Paul Cross?
Godfather Part 1.
Greg Rhodes?
Ooh, you see, now I thought it was Godfather Part 2, so that's where...
It may be. It may be.
It is The Godfather. So, Laurel, congratulations.
Yay!
You got it right. All right, this one should be easy.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed? No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
Such a great line. Laura, what movie is that?
Jurassic Park.
Paul Cross.
Yeah, I concur.
Greg Rhodes.
Jurassic Park, yep.
Yes, that was Jurassic Park. And lastly, your last movie for this segment.
I bring a proclamation from the Imperial City. The Huns have invaded China. By order of the Emperor, one man from every family must serve in the Imperial Army.
Laurel, you about flew out of your seat when you heard this one.
Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. It's Mulan.
Mulan, you say. Okay, Paul.
Not a clue.
Greg Rhodes.
Mulan.
Mulan, it is Mulan. Congratulations. All right, make sure you're keeping score. Our third segment with movie quote trivia is coming up next. Stand by. Stay here. It's the Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Talk and discussion on the latest breaking national news.
Crude oil prices continue to fall.
Local news.
You're not going to have Disney have its own government in Central Florida.
And stories that matter to you. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let your voice be heard on the Joe Kelley Show.
It's our Friday night fun and games, our movie trivia, movie quote trivia. Our contestants are Laurel Lee, Paul Cross, and Greg Rhodes. I am your host, your master of ceremonies, if you will. And, of course, if you're playing along in your car, we appreciate that. If you're playing along in the chat room, we appreciate that as well. All right. You guys ready for the next, for round 3?
Nope.
Yeah, all right.
Try.
Round 3 begins now. Listen to this movie quote.
To the cage and through the security doors there and down the elevator we can't move and past the guards with the guns and into the vault we can't open.
Without being seen by the cameras.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, well, say we do all that. We're just supposed to walk out of there with $150 million in cash on us without getting stopped?
All right, that should be pretty easy, I think, you guys. This one, maybe not so much so. Listen carefully. Here's your next movie.
Sweetie, my brother's my best S.
Where's he?
In bed, sick.
I bet I could cheer him up. I'll give him a balloon. Do you want a balloon too, Georgie?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
Right there, that was the moment. I suddenly realized that unless something changed soon, I was going to live a life where my major relationship was with a bottle of wine.
See, Greg's looking at me because he thinks 2 different movie clips just played there. That was not 2 different movie clips. That was one single movie clip. Identify that movie. And I know what you're thinking. The first part, you were convinced it was a Harry Potter movie. But then suddenly it wasn't a Harry Potter movie anymore, was it? Mm-hmm. All right, here's your next movie. Listen carefully.
Care that you brought Claw. Only reason I don't kill you where you stand is because I know who you are. Now, what do you want? I want the throne.
Okay, that should be pretty easy, right? You guys know that one. All right, here's your next movie. Listen carefully. Are you finished writing it down? Do you want to hear it again? Are you finished? Right, here we go.
We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday.
All right, should be pretty easy. Here's your next movie.
But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh.
Yeah, that was about all I could play without bleeping a whole lot of it out. So that was a short clip. All right, here's your next movie.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Loved that movie. All right, here's your next movie. Listen carefully.
Find you.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up.
All right, that should have been an easy one. All right, here is a cut that I promise you've heard before, but maybe not in the context of the movie that it appears in. Listen carefully to your next movie.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's one of the funniest scenes from any movie ever. All right, you got it? Everybody write it down? All right, here's your next movie.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm going to get you high today. Because it's Friday. You ain't got no job.
Should be easy. That should be an easy one. All right, here is your next movie.
It didn't make sense that I'd be there. I mean, these guys were hardcore hijackers. But there I was. At that point, I wasn't scared. I knew I hadn't done anything they could do me for. Besides, it was fun. I got to make like I was notorious.
Mm-hmm. Did you get it? Everybody write it down? You got it? Got it? Here's your next movie.
Your way out of this one. Go ahead. Threaten me like you have the American people for so long. But it's not going to work this time. You're part of a dying breed, Habsburg, like people who can name all 50 states. The truth hurts, doesn't it, Habsburg? Oh, sure. Maybe not as much as jumping on a bicycle with a seat missing, but it hurts.
All right, here is your last movie for this segment. Listen carefully. Write it down.
No. You were doing fine. You had been courteous and receptive to courtesy. You had established trust with the embarrassing truth about Miggs. And now this ham-handed segue into your questionnaire. It won't do.
All right, so let's circle back and get your answers. Are you guys ready? All right, here is the first movie that I played for you.
To the cage and through the security doors there and down the elevator we can't move and past the guards with the guns and into the vault we can't open.
Laura, what movie was that?
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11. Greg?
Ocean's 11.
Paul Cross, is he with us?
Yep. Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11. All three of you got it right. Congratulations. All right, here is the next one. This was the difficult one.
Sweetie, my brother's my best S.
Where's he?
In bed, sick.
I bet I could cheer him up. I'll give him a balloon.
Doesn't that music sound like Harry Potter? That's what made me think it was Harry Potter.
Do you want a balloon to it, Georgie?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
Right there, that was the moment. I suddenly realized that unless something changed soon, I was going to live a life where my major relationship was with a bottle of wine.
I have never even seen that movie. Laurel, do you know what it is?
Well, as long as the Georgie part is right, it's It.
The movie It?
The movie It.
Okay. Paul Cross?
That's what I thought. It.
So he's tricking us. So the first part is It, but it goes into, I think it's Bridget Jones's Diary.
It's Bridget Jones's Diary.
I was confused why somebody sounded like that in the movie It, but no, I've never seen that movie, so I don't know.
I've never seen It, and I've never seen Bridget Jones's Diary. That first part really sounded like It?
That is from It. The first part is from It.
Oh, is that right?
That's why I looked at you so weird. I was like,
there's
why is
two
it going
different
into someone
movies there.
talking about a bottle of wine?
Oh. So was that...
She was watching It.
I thought they were two separate clips, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, see, I never saw...
You get a half a point for that.
Do you? Do you really?
I think I do. I don't think it's going to make a difference anyway. So
Probably not.
It's not going to make any difference to me.
Here is your next movie. Listen carefully.
Yeah, that you brought Claw. Only reason I don't kill you where you stand is because I know who you are.
Who is it? Laurel, do you know the movie?
Black Panther.
Paul Cross. Paul, you shake your head up and down. I don't know if you know this is radio.
Black Panther.
Okay. You've been in radio a while, bud. I know you're not feeling. I know you're not feeling well.
Yeah, make me talk more, Joe.
Okay.
Just make me talk more.
Greg Rhodes.
Yes, that is
Black Panther.
You guys all got that one right. That was easy. So is this one. Listen.
We're fighting for our right to live.
What movie is that, Laurel?
Don't say it's easy and then make me say, I don't know.
Oh, do you not know?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Paul Cross.
Independence Day.
Greg Rhodes.
Independence Day.
It's Independence Day. All right, here's your next movie. And again, a very short clip because all the rest of them had F words.
But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh.
All right, Laurel.
Goodfellas.
Paul Cross.
That is correct.
Greg Rhodes.
That was Goodfellas, yep.
Yep, Goodfellas is right. Your next movie is this one.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
One of the greatest movies ever made. Laurel, what's the movie?
No idea.
Wow, Paul Cross.
The Royale with cheese.
Yeah, there you
Pulp
go.
Fiction.
All right, Greg Rhodes.
Ezekiel 25:17.
That's right.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction with Samuel L. Jackson. It was such a great scene, such a great movie. All right, here's your next movie, a little bit of an old school movie.
Find you. Quiz, hot shot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up.
Laura, what's the movie?
I don't know.
Wow, Paul Cross.
It's Dennis Hopper, isn't it? Speed?
Yes, it is.
It is Dennis Hopper.
Greg
Yep, it's
Rhodes.
Speed, yep.
Yep, that is Speed. All right, your next movie.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Laura, what movie is that?
Guess what?
You don't know.
I don't know.
All right, Paul Cross.
You know what? It's Richard Dreyfuss, and I'm going to guess Mr. Holland's Opus. I have no idea.
I don't believe. No, in fact, I'm certain that is not Richard Dreyfuss.
It's not Richard Dreyfuss?
It's not.
Okay.
I'm coming over there and taking points away from you for that.
That's fine. Perfect.
Greg Rhodes.
That's from Old School.
That is not from Old School.
No?
All three of you got it wrong. That is from the Adam Sandler movie, Billy Madison.
Oh, I hate Adam Sandler.
All right, your next movie.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm going to get you high today. Because it's Friday. You ain't got no job.
Laurel?
You'll never believe this.
Yes.
But I don't know.
All right, Paul Cross?
I don't know.
Hang on, Greg, before you give the answer, Greg, do you know what the answer is?
I'm torn between two for the answer.
I'll give you a hint. The name of the movie is literally in the cut.
So then it's just the original Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
It's Friday.
I had Friday written down here, but I didn't even guess it because I didn't think that was even right.
Wow, yeah. No, it was totally Friday. Chris Tucker.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was Friday or Friday After Next.
Friday After Next, yeah. There were sequels there. All right, here's your next movie.
It didn't make sense that I'd be there. I mean, these guys were hardcore hijackers. But there I was. At that point, I wasn't scared. I knew I hadn't done anything they could do me for. Besides, it was fun. I got to make like I was notorious.
That was truly, truly one of the greatest movies ever made.
I agree.
Even though creepy Kevin Spacey is in it, and that was him in that role. Laurel, what movie is that?
I don't know.
Paul Cross.
Kaiser Sose.
What was the name?
Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects. Greg?
See, I couldn't remember the name, but yep.
Usual Suspects. Yeah, it's such a phenomenally well done movie.
What a great cast. Everybody in that cast was
Benicio
phenomenal.
del Toro, and it was just
great.
I might go home and rent that tonight. That is a really, really good movie. All right, here's your next one.
Your way out of this one. Go ahead. Threaten me like you have the American people for so long. But it's not going to work this time. You're part of a dying breed, Habsburg, like people who can name all 50 states.
Like people who can name all 50 states. Laurel.
I don't know.
Paul Cross.
I got to give you a quick thing. I took a picture with that actor for 3 years in a row, and it was my Christmas card sending out to all my friends for 3 years. Merry Christmas from Paul and Leslie.
That's great.
Still doing great, going on year 3. So it was The Naked Gun.
Was it?
But I don't. Okay, Naked Gun 33 1/3. I don't know what.
Okay, Greg Rhodes.
Naked Gun was my answer as well.
It's Naked Gun 2.5.
2.5. Okay, see, I didn't know, but
I interviewed Leslie Nielsen one time, and he was largely deaf. He served in the war, and didn't have a whole lot of hearing, and it was very difficult to interview him because of his level of deafness. All right, here is your last movie in this segment. You ready?
No. You were doing fine. You had been courteous and receptive to courtesy. You had established trust.
All right, Laurel, I know you know this one.
I think I've only seen parts of this movie. Silence of the Lambs?
Paul Cross?
Clarice, yes.
Greg Rhodes?
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. All three of you get it right. Congratulations. All right, the conclusion of our Friday Night Fun and Games movie quote trivia coming up next on The Joe Kelley Show.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.